Yeah, I was out in the woods recently and I saw like this dude in like a hood. And I asked him, yo, what's up? And he goes, I'm a druid. And I tell him I'm listening. And then he told me I have to save the Celts. And I'm like, alright. And he goes, in Imperator Rome. I'm like, okay. So I ended up playing as the Averni. And this is my story. Playing as the Averni is pretty interesting because it almost feels like you're on a timer, because any minute now the Romans will come and they will subjugate you and your family. What sucks is, as a Celt in Gaul, you can't even hang out. That's for the other tribals. As a Celtic Gaul, you can't ever relax, man, because like, you always have to be doing something. If you're not doing something, someone else is doing something. And if that someone else is the Romans, they're going to be doing you. So day one, I attacked my neighbors because we needed to absorb them eventually. If we were going to protect Gaul, we needed to be Gaul, or a good portion of it. They were trying to resist my conquest, but they didn't realize I was trying to save them. I was trying to save the Celts. TBH, I didn't even need to go back here and fight them. I could have just like continued full sieging them, but I didn't think about it, okay? I didn't think. That was the issue. Sometimes you forget to think because you're just actively doing stuff. When Scatman said he was a human being and not a human doing, I felt that. Upon defeating these treacherous Celts, we captured them because we were going to sacrifice them. It's one of those things where like, you don't really know if it's gonna like rain or not, so you might as well sacrifice someone on the off chance that, you know, maybe the gods are mad. And what god can be mad when faced with a sacrifice? Like, come on, man. A lot of times in this game, I will get my men killed because I am lazy. I see a 1k stack moving to its death on 5 speed, and there's nothing I can do but watch as my tribesmen get decimated. For the brave pops that I got killed because I was lazy, we will sacrifice at least 2 people in their honor. These early wars were relatively easy and had a lot of people that we could sacrifice. To beat Rome, I decided I wanted to be decentralized. I couldn't really go like toe to toe with them, you know, playing their way. So we went the wild way. Going down south is a dangerous game. I'm sort of railroaded this way, but the closer I got to Rome, the more dangerous life was going to get for me. But I like to live dangerously. You want to know why? Because I'm crazy. I was insane. I was a psycho. Vercingetorix, if he wanted you gone, you were gone. When Caesar killed him, I went to his graveside to make sure he was dead. I was gaining a lot of prisoners to do a lot of sacrifices. I just wanted to become migratory so I could finally battle Rome. Every war I did was getting me closer and closer to Rome. Even if I lost a few battles, it was whatever, bro. We'll just create more Celts. We will make a bigger army. Every war I won would get me more people to sacrifice, which means I could get my migratory horde faster, which means I can get to Rome faster and sack it. Why did this guy look so evil? None of my Celtic neighbors were safe because we needed them for Gaul. If Gaul didn't need them, I wouldn't have been invading them. It's really that simple. Yeah, we were getting that awesome land. Look how many people I had captured. We really were gonna destabilize the government with human sacrifice. The Romans were coming, and I was afraid. I folded and I gave them everything because I'm a coward. Please, Rome, don't attack me. I need more time. Please, I can make everything good. I just need more time. I'll admit, I'm a coward, alright? But I'm a smart coward. I was buying time because I was so close to becoming decentralized. So close I could smell it. I had my roadblocks, I had my setbacks, but eventually it was done. We crapified our government and made it shittier strategically. Now I could amass my hordes of robbers and we can, you guessed it, rob people. Anyone trying to build civilization next to us was gonna get robbed. That's just how it was. It's one thing to lose a war. It's another thing to lose a war and then have your people join a hive mind. Okay, well, I guess they're not really a hive mind here because people can revolt. And if this was a hive mind, this would not be allowed. But it is, unfortunately. We could only pretend to be a hive mind. We couldn't actually be one. Apparently Rome and Carthage had been fighting, and that gave me the idea. What if we just attack Rome now? I got my ducks in a line, and I pillaged the fuck out of Rome. They might not have been able to raise their levies or something. Like, they might have been on cooldown. So we just had our way with their biggest cities. I mean, I wasn't really complaining here. It was a free game. We had our actual country defended by the brave levies, so we could just kind of sit around and loot for free. The Romans would come in here with their just far better units and they would toss us around. But we had to slow them down as long as we could. Time was on our side because while they were going around destroying my shitty fields, we were taking their good cities and they just didn't really care. Sure, the Romans were sieging my grassland, but you know, if I just say it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I'm not coping. The rest of Rome was ours, so you know, what if we traded? What if I gave them all of my land and I took their land? I wonder if they would have accepted that deal. I couldn't really get war score, so I think the war was just going to end in a white peace. So I decided to do something really funny before the war ended. We were going to settle on their capital and just take Rome. What is Rome without Rome? The Romans were willing to accept this deal here, which was better than the white peace I thought I was going to get. And now we get all these people we can turn into Gauls. All their hard work for nothing because we're going to destroy every building, turn it into a wooden hut, and then we're going to leave, as you do. The horde of Mordor has grown, and it only has one purpose: sack Roman cities. That's right, it's time to go to war, I said, and that's what I do, that's what I did. I'm always sort of afraid of Rome because I've been treated badly by them in a lot of campaigns, but then there's just campaigns where I feel like I'm treating them badly, like in this one. Maybe the AI is too aggressive, I don't know, because they really want to siege me down instead of defending themselves. Because this 20 stack here is not going to save them. We're way too decentralized now, so as soon as they touch us, they melt. We also couldn't let the Romans have their holy sites, so we started like sacking them because we needed to make sure they had nothing. The Druids told me that Jupiter had abandoned them, and I think they were right. I can't really recall a time where a Druid has lied to me. He might not have been forthcoming with the truth, but I just can't say that a Druid has ever lied to me with nefarious intent. It's funny when they come to try to stop what's happening, but they always come too late, like, buddy, it's over. AJ, what are you talking about? It's over, Dad. Rome. The Gauls, they came. Oh, you're just not making any sense. What are you talking about? Rome's right here. We were really just walking all the way back to our home country from Rome itself, connecting our occupation. The armies of Rome, even if they looked cool, it wasn't going to stop what was happening to them. Y'all really don't know how good this felt here. To see Rome be conquered instead of being conquered by them, it's awesome. It felt like, it felt like what it'd feel like to be happy. If you know what that feels like. Being a Celt and sacking cities, that's what life is about, maybe. That's all you need in life. That's what you need. If you're ever feeling down, you gotta secure this dopamine hit. The country endgame might have been at max war exhaustion, but I don't even care. War exhaustion, not even a factor in this game. In fact, war exhaustion is good. It's great. I like it. I kind of left my country with really like nothing to defend itself, but it did better than I thought it would do. This war, Rome really saw that, we got it. We got the power. We have that moxie. We got that swag. All I had to do now was accept these Romans and learn from them and take their awesome military traditions because they're Rome and I'm a Celt. But I did do a little bit of forced conversions though, okay? We did convert a few Romans into a horde of Celts. We were accepting them, don't worry, it was just taking a little bit and I was getting bored back then, so I was just forced culture converting some people. But the Romans, they were becoming soldiers slowly. I kept getting called into random barbarian wars I did not care about, man. All I cared about was battling Rome and sacking all their cities. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about anything else. Everything else, well, that was a distraction from the prize. Of course, we were too unstable to actually study the Roman art of war. So that sucks, so we had to hold our military XP for a little bit longer. But it's whatever, dude. We're gonna get to it eventually. And in the meantime, we could battle Rome. Fighting Romans is all we do. We were brave Celtic freedom fighters. Fighting for, you guessed it, our freedom. They will fight for their freedom, or they will die. Don't think we were forgetting to do the holy sacrifices because we were doing them because they were important to our society. We had been sacrificing people up to this point here, and maybe that's why we were winning so successfully. It's because we were doing the sacrifices, and if we stopped doing them now, we might have been losing these wars here. A lot to think about. You see, we did a sacrifice and we got a peace deal that was pretty favorable to us. So I think all of this was because of the sacrifices in hindsight. But we will sacrifice Romans no more, because Romans are our friends now. They're part of the country, and they began teaching us everything they know about war, which surprisingly was a lot. Very slowly, we were going through our mission tree, just so, we had something to do in the downtime. Rome was going through a hard time, but the Romans in our country were having a good time. So maybe they should have all just joined us, and I think things would have been better for them. Because this country was free, we could actually just sack and pillage them with no consequences, because what are they gonna do? Fight back? Yeah, I doubt it, bro. I could literally just walk onto all their cities and hit the pillage button. It was free money. Then we made them our tributary because that's just extra money. It was so sad. This mission tree made me build a fort and a navy that I was never, ever going to use. Ever. Ever. And then the Romans I let into my country, I had to let corrupt max because they were acting as deceitful as my own people. If only we could be an empire of honest hearts with a navy. But alas, that would never happen. There'd just always be mean people in my country who see me conquering half the world, and then they're like, yeah, but what if I betray you? Why would you do that? Well, I say half the world, but what I really mean is half of Rome. But that's like the world to me. The Romans, seeing that I was conquering their actual country, began migrating to Macedonia, which I guess this was kind of like their own little Taiwan situation. They were making an early Byzantium, but a Byzantium that would only be led by John V. We were bribing Carthaginians to teach us how to become nautical Celts. Thank you, Carthage, for teaching us how to sail and love the ocean. Why was Jonah Hill in my country? He was just always causing trouble. Our mission tree was finally kind of catching up to what was going on. We were already invading Rome. We were already doing bad things to them, but it's cool. It's fine. But we did kind of beat up Rome a lot. One might say we were triumphant. We captured the Roman consul And then we let him go because we're nice guys. The Romans probably would have killed us, but not us. We just let him buy his way out. Yeah, if the roles were reversed, they would have probably tortured us to death. They would have made us do embarrassing stuff. But us Celts, we're chill, we're cool. We just let people go. We also sacrificed people, but who doesn't do that, bro? It was about time that we fixed the borders between our two nations. And by fix the borders, I mean erase one of them and expand the other. Imperator Rome, it ain't all cookies and cream, okay? Someone has to get sacrificed. And the borders were coming along. We were starting to look like a normal country now. I mean, there's a blue tumor on top of my blue tumor, but I guess that's pretty normal for tumors. Well, actually, when you look at it, there's 3 tumors here. Gross. When you have allies, they will call you into random wars, and sometimes they call you into a battle with Carthage. This gave me the idea of sneaking some of my Celts onto a boat and sailing to their port city. I was sacrificing my migratory tribes for the conquest of money. Weirdly though, this was actually costing me money, but I had another, funnier idea. What if we just settled on them and took their people? Now that was an idea. Even though we could win battles against them, they wouldn't really separate peace with us. But a white peace was all we really needed, because we could just leave. Unfortunately, some of us did die to starvation, but we still got a lot of people out of this here. Immediately, we began shipping Pontics back to Upper Italy. They're gonna love their new homeland. If only everyone could love their homeland though. Like these guys here, they hated being conquered by me. Come on, man. I treated y'all awesomely. We made you druidic and everything. Maybe Imperator Rome would be awesome if I could just destroy Rome without having to micro war them. But it is what it is. We weren't just battling Rome, we were battling our own people at the same time. It was sad. People did not want to be part of our empire. In this peace deal, I decided to take something that was really annoying, just sitting there. It was probably for the best just to let them be a subject, because I really didn't feel like coming over here and putting down rebellions later. Yeah, y'all gonna have those islands, bro. You'll never guess what happened next. That's right. More war with Rome, because that's all I do now. That was all the campaign was going to war with Rome over and over and over, and the same outcome would always happen. But at least this time I had 2 vassals on my side, because I decided I wanted friends, and vassals are the easiest way to have friends. In our quest for freedom, we ended up turning this entire peninsula into a hellscape of violence and death. Maybe these people did not want to be conquered. Even though they were trying to conquer me, they only liked the conquering one way. And maybe we're all the bad guys here. But that's just the world, that's just how it was, man. I couldn't change it, that's just how it be. The Romans in Italy were eventually subjugated, so I turned my ire to the other guys, the blue tumors. They had to go for border gore reasons, really. With all the enemies in the south crushed, there were only enemies in the north-ish. We needed to be Gaul, okay, bro? We were Gaul without the Gaul. I wanted to be green and not blue on this campaign map. So this is what we had to do. I was envious of this country's green color. I wanted to be green, not blue. Dabba-dee-dabba-die, all that shit. There would need to be a lot of wars to clean the borders of Gaul. A lot of work needed to be done. Johann, I will do this for you, for Imperator Rome, I said to myself. Nameless thousands would die for our right to be green. Our birthright to be green. No Celt should be denied his right to have the color green on his flag. Unless you're Breton, and then you have like a white and black flag, or you're like Scotland and you have white and blue. Okay, so we're in the past right now. We can do things to change their flags to be green. On the bright side, I didn't really have to do any work because I just, I realized I could turn the armies on automated and let them play the game for me. And it was actually a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be. Like, I knew they could actually operate on their own. I just never trusted them before, but if you like super outnumber the enemy, I guess you can just let them do whatever they want. My little Gaelic horde, they're just like, they'll lose a few battles, but I mean, they're effective. Unironically, this made the game a lot less tedious because I just did not want to fight this war. We super outnumbered them, but I just did not want to actually send the units to go and siege down stuff. Because, you're going to lose people when you do this. But if you don't really care about the casualties and you just want, the map painted, this is actually a great option. We were slowly civilizing so we can actually go through our mission tree. Because the mission tree is the LARP. And unfortunately, we cannot LARP as a decentralized tribe. So we got to centralize a little bit. Now that I could allocate my conquests to peons, I could relax and actually chill in Imperator Rome. Not everyone can say they chilled their way to an empire, but in Imperator Rome, you can say that. You can chill your way to an empire. The funniest part about expanding is whenever you raise your levies, you just get like 1,000,000 military XP. Well, not really 1,000,000, but you know what I mean. And every conquest made us more and more Roman, militarily at least. We were at war with Border Gore. We were going to make sure Border Gore would never last. Future generations will not see what we saw. They will not have to brave the horror that is a badly painted map. Our men went into the unknown battling massive barbarian armies, and I hope future generations never have to see what they saw. That's right. Look at this fucking Border Gore, bro. This is horrifying. I even had virtual limes on in this game, and I know it was trying, but I think Border Gore, it's baked into the cake here. Imperator Rome will have Border Gore, and that's okay, but we're just gonna have to fight it. Now that this territory was under my control, I could just create the borders for them. That was the plan. I began creating vassals that were my culture because they would like me. And that's all that matters in this game, is having people like you, and the ones that don't like you, well, they just don't exist. It was going to take time, of course, but one day I would create a map that would look good. I just had to keep on trucking. I was invading countries now just to give my vassals more land because I love them and I appreciate them. They can never say I never gave them anything. Some time did pass and life was actually becoming better for my people. We didn't need to do the conquest anymore. We could actually focus on improving society somewhat. Mainly, we were able to become a tribal kingdom. After becoming cool enough and doing, the bribes you gotta do, we were able to gather the druids in one place to discuss druidic things. And no, I didn't just bribe a whole bunch of crazy old people with $100 at Costco. No, I did not do that. These are real druids, and we're gonna discuss things, okay? You're not privy on the knowledge here because you're just not part of the druidic system. You just wouldn't really understand. The druids give gifts and we create Gaul. It was run more as a kingdom, not really a collection of Gauls living peacefully together. But that time was over. This is an empire. Unfortunately, we couldn't actually finish our mission tree because we progressed way too fast and we needed to be the Averni kingdom, but we were just Gaul now, so we were actually being punished for success. In a fit of rage, I invaded Germania because I just couldn't complete my mission tree and I was low-key sad about it, but it is what it is. Go, my Gaelic hordes, make me happy. All this land goes to the vassal because I appreciate them. At the end of the campaign, I did create a standing army. It was a little overkill, but it was kind of cool to make. My awesome Celt army, we stand tall, and we defeated Carthage. Epic style. It wasn't even a defeat, it was more of like a curb stomp. Like, we went in here, and we just took everything as soon as we walked on it. We conquered this land from Carthage, and we gave the land to my other son, my pink son. I had timeline extended on, and I really could have kept going, but I felt like I'd achieved all the goals I really wanted to achieve here, and maybe this was my LARP.